As promised, we've got some examples of internal controls so you can visualize these as we go through our lesson here. Think about these as all legitimate and commonplace internal controls within an entity. First, and I'd say most important, but that's just me. It's not like it actually is the most important. Segregation of duties. We talk about this a lot throughout the entire exam, and then you've got other exams that talk about this. Dividing responsibilities for related activities among different people to reduce the risk of errors or fraud. If one person's in control of many responsibilities within an organization, that person may be able to commit fraud. This is where we separate authorization, record keeping, and custody, right? That ARC. Someone who has the ability to authorize a transaction should not be able to record keep that, because if they keep the records, they can fudge the numbers. And then custody, if you have custody of the physical assets, you could steal the assets, right? If you have custody and record keeping responsibilities, you could steal the cash and then fudge the numbers in the books and make it so that cash was never there. Next up, we have access controls. These are really anything that restrict access to sensitive areas, documents, and computer systems to authorized personnel only. And just keep in mind here, right, this is a procedure, right? Reconciliation, we'll see what that is in a second, whereas segregation of duties is a policy. So we've got policies and procedures as mentioned on the previous slide. Asset physical controls, this is going to be like a key card system. You've got physical checks, right? Someone's got to scan to get into the warehouse, controlling access to physical assets such as cash, inventory, and equipment. Passwords, fingerprint scanners, anything like that. Reconciliations, this is something the accounting department is going to do, periodically comparing two or more sets of records to ensure accuracy. The most common example is the cash rec, where you're comparing the book balance of cash to the bank balance of cash, making sure that they match up. Now, the bank is always right because guess what? The bank is receiving the money, and generally, yeah, it's probably going to be pretty foolproof. So if your book balance is off, maybe it's because someone in your company is stealing money and fudging the numbers. Next up, information security, really just IT, confidentiality of data. Approval authority, making sure that if someone's going to take an action, it gets properly approved and people aren't just taking actions, without the knowledge or approval of the organization. Code of ethics, this is overall just, it's not going to physically stop anyone from doing anything, but commitment to a positive culture and instilling this within the employees is pretty helpful as well. And also required in a lot of instances. And I know we don't live in a perfect world, unfortunately, right? We are not perfect. We are not solely driven by our beneficial thoughts to the company we work for, right? That's just not how it is. And lastly here, auditing, whether that is an external auditor coming in and doing what we're doing in this exam, or you have an internal audit department, that is also quite likely that a company has one, periodically reviewing and evaluating the effectiveness of internal controls. Or that internal audit department solely works for the company, right? It could be a manufacturing company, or it could be Microsoft or Google or anything. And that internal audit department is just constantly working throughout the entire year on that one company because that's who they work for. It's not like you have clients. And they're working to make sure that all of these other internal controls are operating effectively. Hey there! Are you ready to not only pass your CPA exams, but truly understand and enjoy the material while studying? I know it seems impossible, right? Especially to enjoy the material? We'll do it together. Tap into the power of CPA.examprep.ai, where we've got personalized quizzes, multiple choice questions, memorization guides, flashcards, simulations, all tailored to your learning. Our adaptive study planning puts you on the fastest path to success and lifts you back up if you fall behind. Avoid wasting your precious time and money attempting an exam with a low chance of passing, because who wants that? We want to get you through this process as quick as possible. Our exam readiness prediction lets you walk in with confidence, knowing that you're prepared for success on exam day. Thankfully, there's no payment method needed to get started, so why don't you come join us? Visit cpa.examprep.ai and let's achieve your exam success together.